Hi, I just looked at my YouTube channel and realised that apparently it's been 11 days since I posted my last video. I have been struggling with an Alice in Wonderland moment, if you like. Over the last few days, I've managed to turn it around, but for several days, I got stuck down a rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole was all manner of different forms of media. YouTube, various forms of alternative news and all that kind of thing. And I realised a few days ago that I was beginning to become addicted to it. The pull of it was huge. And you must have all have done this at some point. You click on a YouTube video and before you know it, 2 hours have passed and you are now ensconced in another YouTube video that had nothing to do with the original search that you made. The initial intention was to watch a 10-minute video, and before you know it, you've got a headache because your eyes are watching a phone or a tablet or a laptop, and you all of a sudden have become tired, and it drained my energy. And while it was draining my energy, it was also interfering with my connection to my higher self and interfering with my connection to my inner self and interfering with my connection to my guides. Anyway, I've pulled away from all of that now, and I've had a few days where I have not been involved or even looked at my phone other than for phone calls and text messages. And I have now climbed out of this particular mindset. But I can't help feeling that I was guided to do that, so that I experienced something of what it was like for many people who spend much of their time on various platforms being lost in a rabbit hole. And I have to say, it's very energetically draining. And I was getting more and more agitated, getting myself all worked up about certain things that I had not heard of and certain things that I had heard of, but then added to my knowledge already. And it was not doing me any favours at all. I was turning into a different person, and I didn't like that. So over the last few days, I have been bringing myself back to centre, upping my self-care game, spending more time in silence, in meditation, and pulling myself back to the present every time I notice that I am getting worked up about something that is in the future that doesn't exist because it hasn't happened, or something that has happened in the past and because it's already gone, it no longer exists. And I'm pleased to say I think I'm back, and I'm back with a message. And the message today was quite difficult for me to sort of wrap my head around what it actually meant, and I've been mulling it over all day. But if you did watch my last video, I had a raven follow me through the woods, and for the last few days, I have seen and been greeted by a black panther. Now, to my knowledge, if you were trekking through the jungle, you may be very close to a black panther and never see them. They would be tracking you. And I think the message has something to do with, it's to do with tracking. Track your thoughts, track your emotions, keep a track of your emotions, keep a track of your thoughts, keep a track of what is going on around you without putting any attachment to it. Because the panther is a spirit animal, a power animal. And the panther, in my visions over the last few days, this panther is there to track me, chase me down and put me on back on the right track. So there is some sense that we have veered or we've fallen off our destiny, the destiny of the trajectory that we are on, which we are destined to walk. And some of us, a lot of us, including myself, have fallen off the path that is meant for me. And if I see it, it always means something to others. And my connection to my guides has been quiet also. This does happen. Sometimes I don't get messages, and I think I said this in my last video. Sometimes I get nothing. Sometimes I get lots of things. I usually get daily messages, but with my actions over the last 11 days or whatever, not all 11 days, over the last probably, I spent 3 solid days down this rabbit hole. My actions have knocked me off my path, and I've had to find my way back with the help of the power animal, the panther. And I believe that the message is, your panther is tracking you down. And the mission of that panther is to put you back on the right track. All you have to do is to be open to being found and put back on the right track. And I have to admit, for 2 days, I hadn't even recognised that I'd fallen off my path. I was just down this. It's mesmerising. But I have to say, I did not feel well. I did not feel well in my mind. I didn't feel well in my body. I was exhausted. And my emotions were all over the place as well. So we are absorbing everything that comes at us from all sides. So I'm just going to do a quick reading. I want to have a look at the tarot card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And we have 3 come out. What are they? In which order? Right. Okay, so first up we've got the moon. So we've got the moon. We've just had a partial lunar eclipse, haven't we? The new moon. I've missed all of that, being down the rabbit hole. If you look at this moon, the moon usually talks to us about things that are hidden or things that are happening behind your back. But attention is being sought from you. And you won't understand what's being hidden from you what is really there, until you pull your attention away from whatever it is that's consuming you at the moment. This moon has a string coming down from it, and at the end there is an anchor. This is telling me that we need to come out of our heads and plant our feet back on the ground. We need grounding. We need to come back down to earth and anchor ourselves there. Come down from the head, come back down to earth. And this tells the story for me that I have been up in the clouds. And as a Libra, as an air sign, it's very easy for me to float back up into the clouds and live in my head. It feels unnatural to me to not live in my head. So I have to work at being grounded. I have to work at having my feet firmly planted on the ground, and be aware that there are things that are hidden even from me right now at the moment. And the things that are hidden will be revealed, but they won't be revealed yet because it isn't time, because you're not ready to hear it, because you're not ready to see it, because you need to come back down to earth. So anyone who's having a pretty difficult time at the moment with life, whatever that is, love life, career, job, any sort of job or business or family matters or any sort of interactions. If you're having a difficult time right now, your advice would be to try and come back down to earth a little bit. Try and live less in your head and anchor yourself to the ground. And it's very simple to ground yourself. And there's lots of stuff on the internet which will tell you how to ground yourself. So I'm not going to spend any time explaining that. There are many ways to ground yourself. Just basically, if you just want to take your shoes and socks off and go and stand on the grass for a bit, you'll be grounding yourself. So the moon, it's not surprising me that we have the moon. And then we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups. The Six of Cups often talks about the past, our childhoods. Maybe something from your childhood has got your attention. Maybe something or someone that you have known since childhood is giving you a hard time right now, and you're finding it difficult to stop living in your head. Maybe you miss someone. Maybe you've lost something. It's very possible that you could have lost something, and it could be something that you have had since you were a child, something that you can't find maybe. And if it's something that you've lost, it's still there, but you're too busy worried about it to actually be able to think straight. Have you ever been so worried about something that you can't think? And I always say, can't think in a straight line. Hang fire, because you haven't lost it. You still have it. It's just that right now you're not supposed to find it. If it's a person or somebody from childhood or a job from childhood that you are reminiscing about that is creating noise in your head, take it as a happy memory for now and don't hold any attachment to any outcomes right now. And then the last card we have is the Sun. And the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. It's the luckiest card in the deck. So whatever the issue is that's causing your brain to overthink, it's more likely to be something from the past or something that you have a fond memory of. whatever the issue is that's causing this up in your head stuff, it will all become clear. It will all become clear. If you've lost something, you'll remember where you last saw it, and you'll find it. If it's a person who you miss that you haven't seen for ages, and you can't find the phone number or something, you will find a way to get in touch. The light will be shone on your problem at some point. The light will go on. I don't mean I don't mean that the spotlight will be on your problem. I mean the sun will come and clear up the cloudy day, the cloudy mind. Let's have a wisdom of the oracle card. We'll have a wisdom of the oracle. I feel like there's something else I need to say. I haven't quite got there yet. If you are worried about a medical issue, particularly if it is a medical issue that someone else is having issues with, but it's an hereditary illness or affliction, I think you're going to find that you're going to find some good news for yourself if you are worried that you have inherited a particular disease or affliction. The sun's coming out on it, which is good fortune, it's good luck. And all you have to do right now is ground yourself and expect the best. Expect the best news. Expect to find something. But don't worry too much about it. And if you've been like me and have disappeared down the YouTube and all different manner of alternative social media rabbit hole, try your best to leave it alone. I totally understand now how people can become addicted to gaming, to technology, because 3 days I was at it and 3 days sent me absolutely batshit crazy. So which way around are we? So we'll have a wisdom of the oracle. Wisdom of the oracle card. For today, so what's the advice about this up in your head business? What's the advice about something that you might have lost, or the worries that you might be having about something that is connected to childhood? We have to be fair. To be fair. Number 38. This is all about bringing yourself back into balance. This woman has an owl on her head. Owls are wisdom. There's balance here. I can't make out what are on the scales, but the scales are evenly weighted. I think we need to be bringing ourselves back into balance. I've already begun that. I think I have another few more days to go on that, and actually getting out into my allotment and getting the chicken coop ready to get chickens, and spending time with my hands in the earth, in the daylight, soaking up some vitamin, making the vitamin D, and already begun to eat produce that has been homegrown. I'm finding that stepping up my own self-care game, moving away from the technology so much. Because when you don't watch all the stuff that's coming at us, that's coming through the airwaves at us, when you don't watch it, if you actually looked around you and experienced life as it is, you wouldn't know there were any issues in the world. And I'm not advocating you stick your head in the sand and ignore what's going on. I'm not saying that, because we need to be informed about what's happening around us all over the world. But it's one thing getting a rundown of the news in the morning, and it's another thing opening the news or opening something, a report in the morning, and still being there well into lunchtime, breaking off for a bit, doing all the things you have to do, and then going and sitting back down and doing it all again. Nothing's getting done, but your mind's getting addled. Your emotions are getting proper fucked up, and it takes a while to come back into centre, to balance. So to be fair, can you see that? Okay. Life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing. Yet over time, they strike a balance. You move from being, from status, to doing, from discovering, to loving, to letting go, to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all these states. You will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed now. So when I was talking about something is hidden, it's got something to do with childhood or past, but something will be revealed. The sun will shine on it, so the answers will come. It's favourable because it's a sun card. If this is an issue you have and you're up in your head and it's about a relationship, family member, or somebody in general that you know who you're worried about, we'll have a little read of the relationship message. Can you find a way to achieve fairness right now? This is a time for listening as well as asking to be understood. There is much to be learned, and you will learn if you remain open and objective, weighing options and considering all sides. Your heart wants to connect to others, so allow for a balanced exchange of ideas and actions. The best kind of relationship is one in which there is mutual benefit and each party feels heard, valued and respected. Be fair to all. That's very interesting. And the prosperity message, so if your worries are about money and it's connected to something from the past, now is a time for even exchanges. Justice will prevail and you will be treated accordingly. In all your affairs, you will be able to negotiate fair settlements. Mutual gain is the gift to you and your partners and colleagues. This is also a good time to square your finances and take stock of how you're compensated for your work. This card signifies balance, justice and negotiations. So remember that all things must be fairly recompensed. Keep this as your truth, and so it will be. So keep yourself light and optimistic. Act and think as though what you want is already here. And if you did a looby-loo and went down the internet rabbit hole, and you need some support, you can always send me a message, a comment. In the description there is my email address. If you want to write to me, that would be very nice too. If you want to like this reading, I would appreciate it. If you would want to subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate it. I cannot promise that I will put a video up religiously. I put videos up as and when I get messages, and I have to stay true to my guides. I will not just make a reading up just for the sake of needing to be visible regularly on YouTube. What goes up goes up. If it makes sense to you, all the better. If it doesn't, it's not a reading that is meant for you at this time. I wish I could put a video on every single day, and I wish I could do the horoscope tarot readings, but I don't seem to, my guides don't work through me like that. They seem to come to me when there's something of particular importance that means something to the collective, and not just a particular bunch of star signs even, because even your sun sign doesn't necessarily accurately predict you, because you have many planets in your chart, and at different times different planets are more predominant than others. So it works really well for other tarot readers, and they do a marvellous job, and I watch them myself, but I don't have that kind of remit from my guides. So your postcard from Spirit is as follows. Dear you, there are times in life when taking a risk is better left for another day. Other times are perfect for taking that leap, no matter how dangerous it might seem. Well, hold on to your parachute strings for today. Oh, right, I'll start again. Well, hold on to your parachute strings, for today is leap time. Realise that no matter what we will not let you... What? These cards are so badly written. Right. Realise that no matter what, we will not let you fall, drown, get lost, or hurt yourself in any way on this one. Even if it may feel like you are in free fall, we are here for you, and you can stop freaking out about getting hurt and relax into this transition to something new. All the elements are in place, and your soul is ready for a new experience. No matter what you're asking about, it's time to take the risk and do that thing that scares you. No matter what happens, you will land softly, right on target. Don't worry about the outcome. Spirit's got that covered. It's taking the leap itself that's the point. So, if you have been worrying about taking a leap and doing something completely different, it's possible that it has something to do with childhood or childhood memories, or someone that you've known from childhood. Don't worry about it, because the sun's going to shine and Spirit's got your back. And as for falling down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole, for me, I know that I was meant to experience that. This postcard talks about your soul is ready for a new experience. Yeah. No matter what happens, you will land softly. I needed to experience that, to know what it feels like to be trapped down the rabbit hole. And on the one hand, you're really enjoying being trapped in the rabbit hole, and on the other hand, you at the back of your mind, you know it's doing you no good. It isn't necessarily doing you any harm, but it isn't doing you any good. So if you're trapped in something that isn't doing you any harm, but it isn't doing you any good either, meditate on your power, on the power animal. Ask the panther, the black panther, to track and trace you and put you back on the right path. And trust that it will happen, because it does happen. Thank you. That's all I've got to say for today. Might see you in a few days. Who knows? But for now, I'm back on the self-care. I'm back on the path, courtesy of the Black Panther. Take care.